Hi, I'm Jan Willis, and welcome to the EBeam Initiative's Fine Line Video Journal. We're here live in San Jose, California at the annual SPIDE Advanced Lithography Conference. And I'm excited to announce that Canon has joined the EBeam Initiative. So with me today is Doug Resnick, Vice President of Marketing and Business Development for Canon Nanotechnologies. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you so much.
I remember when we first met several years ago, and you were actually an evangelist at Molecular Inference. So since then, a lot's happened. The company was acquired a couple of years ago by
That's
Canon.
right.
So maybe you could do a little recap of the history. Why did Canon acquire Molecular Inference?
I understand. So I think what people don't generally appreciate is how long Canon has been working on the technology. Together with what was Molecular Inference and now Canon Nanotechnologies, we've been working together probably for about 6 years, but they were involved in doing their own research before that. When we started working together, I think they immediately saw the progress that we were able to make. This was exciting for them. They saw the opportunity, if they participated, to gain market share and participate in the next generation devices that are going to be made over the next several years. So I think it's been very good for both companies.
Well, you're right. I think there were probably a lot of people that didn't recognize Canon's role in this technology prior to the acquisition. I know I was one. Certainly, mergers and acquisitions have been very popular the last few years in our industry. And with that, sometimes comes surprises. So I'm wondering, what surprises did you find in the past couple of years through the integration phase?
So I think the biggest surprise was a good surprise. What you ended up doing as a result of the acquisition was combining the strengths of two very different companies. You had one company, which was Molecular Inference, that was very, very innovative. These were technologists that understood imprint lithography. They knew how to do things like detect defects, understand the root cause, remove them from the process, and create a better process. And as a result, they were able to introduce a few tools to folks in the semiconductor industry, but also in the hard drive industry, in the display industry. So nimble was good, but if you want to get introduced into high volume manufacturing for semiconductor, you need a lot more. And that's really what Canon has brought to the table for us. These people have a wonderful infrastructure. They're acknowledged tool builders. They understand how to build tools, how to manage defects out of tools, and as a result, in just a couple of years, we have new tools on the floor. They are much more reliable than the ones that were there before, and it's a benefit to both companies.
Wow. It sounds like it's going well, and we certainly just came from the EBeam Initiative annual lunch here, where we got a great progress report on nano imprint. Hayashi-san, who's a luminary in our industry from DMP, just really addressed the questions that have been around nano imprint, around defectivity, around throughput. He even linked it to the EBeam technologies in the form of multi-beam mask writing. So I wondered, what was your take after the presentation?
So we were very, very encouraged as a result of what we saw this afternoon. It's very important to our technology. One of the things that imprint does that's very, very difficult for other technologies is you don't need really to rebuild your system to get better resolution. The resolution comes for free. Okay, what doesn't come for free are the masks. And the masks are very difficult to make, especially when you start to go below 20 nanometers. What we saw today is with new multi-beam technology, out of the box, they're looking at 15 nanometers. So that's very important to us. It shows us a path forward. So we're very, very pleased with Hayashi-san's work. He's been a great supporter of imprint lithography.
Wow, that's great. We have a number of things here at the show that are being talked about, progress across a lot of the alternatives from EUV to DSA to nanoimprint and extensions to 193i. It's kind of like a Rubik's Cube of trying to figure out what solution. And in fact, that was our giveaway today to play on that. I think it would be great if you could comment on how does nano imprint shape up relative to these other options in terms of cost and in terms of, sort of the readiness for use.
Sure. So let's talk first a little bit about the other technologies. Back around 2010, what was introduced into production was spacer processing. Okay, and what spacer processing did is it removed the limitations of resolution from the immersion tools. It allowed them to go below 38 and 40 nanometers, and that was a very big deal for everyone, especially the NAND flash manufacturers. But the process itself is complementary. You can't do spacer double patterning or spacer quad patterning, for that matter, without a primary lithography. So it's complementary. And what that means is when you apply it, you do extra deposition steps, you do extra etch steps, and you even do other lithography steps. So it adds cost to the process. Now, folks have been doing a very wonderful job associated with directed self-assembly using block copolymers. The results are amazing. The sort of feature sizes you can make is just very impressive. But it too is a complementary technology. You still have to do a primary lithography. And for example, if you're doing lines and spaces, you still have to do additional lithography steps as well. So it comes at a cost. EUV has made great progress as well, but it's a very complex and it's a very expensive technology. They've still got problems associated with the source, with the mask, with the reticles, with the pellicles, with the resists. So they've got a ways to go too. What you have with respect to imprint lithography that's hard to get delivered from any of those other technologies is when you print directly and you don't have to do any of the additional processing, you have a very significant cost advantage. So we bring cost advantage to the table, we bring extensibility, which we already talked about, and the multi-beam writer helps us get that extensibility. This year we're introducing our manufacturing tool, which is a 4-station cluster tool. So we're on a road to success and we're very excited.
Oh, that's wonderful news. This has been a great update today on nano imprint lithography. We're pleased to have Canon as the newest member, so thank you for everything you've done on that. So for now, we'll call that a wrap and we'll see you next time on the Fine Line Video Journal.